This video might help you go from a basic ChatGPT user to an AI automation pro and help you fast track your business on the way. The truth is that we're not all using AI on the same level. Some of us are the equivalent of riding a bike with training wheels on, and others are driving F1 supercars. And you might think you're ahead because you're using ChatGPT every day or something. But the reality is that you might actually be missing out on a lot of leverage. But the good news is that knowing which level you're on will help you get to the next stage. So let's break it down to see where you stand. Level 1 is what I call the prompt monkey. And that's when you're using AI sort of as a better Google. And these people mostly use ChatGPT, and they would just come in here and instead of searching something on Google, they would just make the same search on this bar right here. Now, sometimes they're a bit more savvy and they have sort of a template prompt that they put in regularly and then swap out a few words. And that's sort of the thing that they run over and over again. And that's pretty much the only way that they use AI and LLM is just to come in here, have their prompt to copy paste, and then get the answer that they're looking for. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're all prompt monkeys at time, and using ChatGPT in that purpose is definitely better than not using AI at all. And again, it's probably a better way for people to get an answer to their questions, better than Google, because you can add a bit more context and just have a more specific answer to especially what you're looking for, instead of just typing something on Google and expecting to maybe have a blog article written about this topic. That way you actually get a sort of an aggregate answer to everything that you were looking for. And again, we're all there sometimes, and that's a good way to use ChatGPT. But these people are usually limited to use LLM in that way. And I would guesstimate that this is probably 70 to 80% of people using AI. And when you see those numbers, like 700 million active users on ChatGPT, again, I would say about 80% of people only use ChatGPT to this extent. Again, nothing wrong with it. It's pretty basic, but that's a step in the right direction. And at least they're engaging with those new tools. And I guess they're not really automating anything. I mean, maybe they're a bit more savvy and they have a project set up with a lot of context and things that they ask on a recurring basis. Or again, they just have their prompt that they come in here and paste, and they do that just to shave off a few hours of something that would have taken a bit more time before AI. Maybe they use it to summarize a bunch of text or to rephrase something, or maybe they use deep research to go a bit faster in something that would have taken hours. Or sometimes maybe it's allowing them to do something they couldn't before, like create an image or sort of edit something they already have. Again, we're all on that level sometimes, and I still use ChatGPT in that matter a lot of time. And it's at least getting them engaged with the new technology, and it's a lot more intuitive than Google. So I think for older generations, using AI and LLM in this way is at least getting them to adopt the tool in a much more intuitive way. Level 2 is the AI enthusiast. So I think there are a few types of people in that category. So on the one hand, you have people that are maybe in a job or industry that's maybe a bit old school, and there's a certain way to do things, and those habits are pretty ingrained. And on the other hand, you have people that are maybe in a space where there isn't necessarily a massive need for AI or anything super advanced. So usually they'll still be using something like ChatGPT, or maybe something a bit more B2B like Copilot, and because they're already using the Microsoft Suite. And most of the time, I would say they're using AI features in a tool that they were using before. So for example, if they were using Canva and now Canva has AI features, then they'll be using those features inside of Canva, but they were using Canva for other things before. If they're a bit more creative, maybe they'll use new tools like Lovable and other no-code AI builders and build some kind of apps for their day-to-day use or for their business or their job, even if they're not techie or understand anything about coding. Or maybe this is a manager that gets excited every time someone on the team mentions something AI related. But either way, those people are enthusiastic. Even if they're not the one using the tool, they understand the value of AI and starting to implement that new technology in the business, in the job, in the company. But they're usually not active builders or on the tech side of things. And I really like this level because they're going the extra step. They might not be tech savvy, but they understand the importance of AI and the impact it's going to have on their job, their company, and they're here for it. Level 3 is the workflow warrior. And this is for the people that are a bit more tech savvy and not afraid to go ahead, implement this stuff, and be builders. And they start becoming more serious about automations and using specific tools to do that, like N8N. They probably have seen a few YouTube videos, started to build some workflows, and they get excited about those new tools. And so I think most of the time, these people are more comfortable starting from a template. Maybe they're trying to use N8N for something very specific in their business. They're trying to automate a particular task or something they do regularly. And, watching YouTube videos and seeing those templates kind of inspire them to, find the template that they're actually looking for and sort of starting from that instead of just building from scratch. Because again, it's much easier to start from a template, add just a few bits depending on your business, and then just have this work for you. Some of them are also looking to sort of build those templates in order to be able to sell them to their clients or their audience, or just to add it to their current service to, again, sort of up level the value of what they offer. Now, spoiler alert, this might not always be a good idea if you don't actually understand the platform and you're not able to, really troubleshoot or, customize this to work for your clients. But if you're just looking to sort of add a bit of an add-on to your current offer, then there's no harm in it, and it might be just a good thing to do. The cool thing is that they're not scared to get their hands dirty and actually build those things and, again, share it with other people or just use it for their own business. And I also really like this category because they're very hands-on, and it's usually the younger people, I would say. They are, again, just not scared to pick up new tools, learn it, and then build something with it in a matter of a few weeks. And they're comfortable with new technology, and they're starting to think with this AI-first mindset. And level 4 is the AI builder. And that's sort of the more advanced version of the level 3. Maybe they just have a few more years of experience. They've actually built a few things, and usually they're a bit more tech savvy. Maybe they're a programmer or just a tech person in a company that's willing and looking to implement AI in their workflows. So they're not always thinking and building with an AI first mindset, but they're actually trying to implement this in the current business and the current workflows. And again, they know what's going on the tech side as well. So they can write code. They're very comfortable to integrate API, and that means probably some more AI nodes in n8n. They're, again, comfortable to use some custom code if they need to, and they know how to fine tune it and use it for real life use cases in their job and in their current workflow. Again, they're really using those AI automations as a mean to an end and something to sell or something to actually implement in real life. And I think that's probably the most interesting level, because these are the people that are going to progress the adoption of AI in your company the most. And level 5 is the AI orchestrator. Okay, so now we're getting into the sweaty stuff, the hardcore people and builders. And not only are they very technical, but they also have this AI first mindset. And anything new in their business or at their job starts with the question, how can I do this with AI? Or how can AI do this for me at all? Most of the time, the difference between them and level 4 is going to be a matter of scale. It's going to be much bigger, much more complex systems. And it's not just, building a rack system with 100 files. It's going to be, thousands of files across 5 different divisions of a company. They tend to self-host everything because they need the horsepower, and they also need to make sure that the data is private. And they're not just building AI agents, but they're building orchestrator for AI agents. So essentially AI agents that control other AI agents doing very specific tasks. So they'll use something like Crew AI or, LangChain to actually custom build their AI agents. And just because of the scale, they tend to want to build more of, self-improving agents that will, learn from their mistakes and get better at the task the more they run it. To be honest, most people don't need to be at that level to get the most of AI that they can. But these are the super builders. These are the people on the edge pushing the boundaries for what's possible with AI. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. We have level 1, which is the prompt monkey. And again, that's where most people are going to be and where most of us even spend a lot of our time using AI. And again, nothing wrong with that. The way to sort of get to the next level would be to start using AI tools and start trying to do things that were not possible before AI. So not just think from a first level principle, but trying to do things that were just not possible before AI and AI tools were created. Level 2, we have the AI enthusiast, and this is the people that use AI features and use different tools. They're not quite automating many things, and they're not quite tech savvy enough to start building workflows, but at least they're engaging as much as they can and at their level. And to get to the next level, these people should start getting a bit more hands-on, a bit more techy, not being afraid to learn those new tools and actually become builders, because that's what's going to help them get to the next level. Level 3, we have the workflow warriors, and these people actually get hands-on. They start building. It's great. Sometimes it's just from a template, but at least they're getting engaged and building the stuff. They don't need to do much to get to the next level. Just sort of stick with it, and with time, they will easily get to the next level to do more advanced stuff. Because level 4 is the AI builder, and again, these people use pretty much the same tools. They're a bit more techy, a bit more tech savvy, but they're very comfortable using custom code and APIs and HTTP requests, and they just have more experience on real use cases than level 3. And these people are great where they're at, but if they wanted to get to the next level, level, then they would just have to think a bit more with AI first in mind and start thinking about sort of the overall architecture of a real AI workflow. And level 5, we have the AI orchestrator. That's going to be the people on the edge, pushing the envelope and showing us what's possible. And I hope this was helpful, and let me know in the comments which level you think you're mostly at. And if you want to get more practical ways to get to that next level, then go ahead and watch this video right here. But if you just want to keep updated with new AI automations and how to implement them in your business, then go ahead and subscribe to the free newsletter. That's going to be in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.